Welcome to everybody. Today I am going to discuss about the Joule-Thomson coefficient, and this part is coming from CC4 Unit 2 of second semester. Okay, now let's start. What is Joule-Thomson coefficient? Joule-Thomson, before going to saying about Joule-Thomson coefficient, we have to first know what is Joule-Thomson effect or Joule-Thomson expansion. The effect by which a gas is expanded from higher pressure to lower pressure in adiabatic condition called as Joule-Thomson effect. Okay, adiabatic condition means no heat exchanges. That means no heat enters to the system or released from the system. So at this condition, if the expansion of a gas takes place from higher pressure region to lower pressure region, then that effect is called Joule-Thomson effect. Okay. Now we can define Joule-Thomson coefficient. Joule-Thomson coefficient is defined as the rate of change of the temperature with respect to the pressure at constant enthalpy during the Joule-Thomson expansion called as Joule-Thomson coefficient. Okay, again I am repeating, Joule-Thomson coefficient is defined as the rate of change of the temperature with respect to the pressure at constant enthalpy during the Joule-Thomson expansion of a gas called as Joule-Thomson coefficient. Okay, Joule-Thomson coefficient is represented by mu J(T). Okay, Joule-Thomson coefficient, that is a constant quantity, and represented by mu J(T). Okay, and mu J(T) is equal to change in temperature with respect to change in pressure at constant enthalpy during the Joule-Thomson expansion. That means this process under adiabatic condition, when a gas expanded from higher pressure to lower pressure under adiabatic condition, at the time the rate of change of temperature with respect to the pressure at constant enthalpy is called as Joule-Thomson coefficient. Okay, now I am going to calculate the Joule-Thomson coefficient for a ideal gas and for a real gas. Okay, we know Joule-Thomson coefficient for an ideal gas is always 0. Now I am going to prove that the value of Joule-Thomson coefficient or Joule-Thomson constant is 0 for an ideal gas. Okay. Now I am going to calculate the value of Joule-Thomson coefficient for an ideal gas. Okay. Firstly, we know enthalpy is a state function. Enthalpy change value depends upon the state of the system. So that let's consider enthalpy is a function of temperature and pressure. Okay, H is a function of temperature and pressure. So that we can write dH equal to del T. dH equal to del H by del T at constant P equal to dt plus del H by del P at constant T equal to dt. Okay, dP. So enthalpy is a function of temperature and pressure, so that we can write the differential equation, that is dH equal to del H by del T at constant P equal to dt plus del H by del T at constant T equal to dP. Okay. Now take this equation 1. Now we know del H by del H by del T at constant P, we know that is equal to Cp, the heat capacity of the system at constant pressure. Okay. Is dH equal to del H by del T at constant P dt plus del H by del P at constant T into dP. But we know del H by del T at constant pressure, the rate of change in enthalpy with respect to change in temperature at constant pressure, we know that is heat capacity of the system at constant pressure and denoted by Cp. Now putting this value of Cp in the above equation 1, then we can we get dH equal to Cp dt plus del H by del P at constant T into dP. Okay, so that is equation 2. Suppose that is equation 2. But we know this Joule-Thomson expansion takes place under adiabatic condition, so that dH equal to 0 due to adiabatic condition. Okay, we know in the adiabatic condition no heat energy exchange through the system, so that the change in enthalpy or dH equal to 0. So that equation 2 becomes Cp dt is equal to minus of del H del P at constant T into dP. Okay, if the value of dH is equal to 0, then Cp dt equal to minus del H by del P at constant T whole into dP. Okay, that implies dt by dP dP is equal to minus 1 by Cp del H by del P at constant T. Okay, now this the dt by dP, that means the rate of change in temperature with respect to the pressure at constant enthalpy. We know this value is the Joule-Thomson coefficient, so that we can write hence the Joule-Thomson coefficient, that is mu Zt, is equal to del dt by dP at constant enthalpy, which is nothing but equal to minus 1 by Cp will into del H by del P at constant T. Okay, this is equation 3. So the Joule-Thomson coefficient value means mu Zt is equal to del T by del P at constant H, which is nothing but equal to minus 1 by Cp whole into del H by del P at constant T. But we know H enthalpy is equal to U plus Pv. Okay, U is the internal energy. By putting this value of H or enthalpy in this above expression, then mu Zt is equal to minus 1 by Cp del of U plus Pv will divided by del P at constant T. Okay, so now we get that implies mu Zt is equal to minus 1 by Cp del U by del P at constant T plus P del V by del P at constant T. Okay, now we can also write mu Zt is equal to minus 1 by Cp del U by del P. We can write del U by del V at constant T equal into del V by del T, del P at constant T. Okay, plus P del V by del P at constant T. Right, del P del V can cancel, so del U by del V. So that we can write for del U by del P at constant T as del U by del V at constant t equal into del v by del p at constant t. Okay, but we know for an ideal gas, del u by del v at constant t is taken as 0. Okay, but for an ideal gas, del u by del v at constant t is taken as 0, so that mu Zt is equal to, so this term is 0 into del v by del p at constant t is equal to 0, so that we get mu Z equal to minus 1 by Cp equal into P del v by del p at constant t. Okay, so mu Z equal to minus 1 by C P into del v by del p at constant t. But for an ideal gas, again, for an ideal gas at constant temperature, at constant temperature, Pv equal to constant. Yes, for an ideal gas at constant temperature, we know Pv is equal to constant. That means P of del v by del p at constant t is equal to 0. Okay, if the value of Pv is constant for an ideal gas at constant temperature, so the derivative, that means the P of del v by del p at constant temperature is equal to 0. Hence, mu Zt is equal to minus 1 by Cp into 0. That means 0. Okay. Therefore, we can say the Joule-Thomson coefficient for an ideal gas becomes equal to 0. Now I am going to calculate the value of Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas. Okay. When we calculate or derive the Joule-Thomson coefficient expression for a real gas, we consider the Van der Waals gas equation. We know the Van der Waals gas equation for 1 mole of real gas, that is P plus A by V square equal into V minus B equal to RT. Okay, this is equation 1. Now, if we simplify this equation, then we get Pv minus Pv plus A by V minus AB by V square. Okay, this is equal to RT. And now, as A and B are two simple and small terms, then AB by V square can be neglected from the above expression. So we get Pv plus minus Pv plus A by V is equal to RT. Okay, this term is neglected. Hence, if we now rearrange this, we get Pv equal to RT minus A by V plus Pv. Okay, and then now this is equation 2, suppose. But we know for an ideal gas equation for 1 mole, Pv equal to RT. Okay, that implies V equal to RT by P. And now, if we substitute the value of V equal to RT by P, then we get Pv equal to RT minus Fp by RT plus Pv. Okay, sorry, Pv. in the place of a v, if we put the value of RT by P, then we get PV equal to RT minus AP by RT plus PB. Now if we are dividing P in the above terms on the both sides, then we get, if we divide P on both sides, then we get V equal to RT by P minus A by RT plus B. Okay. Now differentiate this above expression with respect to temperature at constant pressure. We get del V by del T at constant pressure is equal to R by P plus A by R T square. Okay. If we differentiate this above expression with respect to temperature at constant pressure, then we get del V by del T at constant P equal to R by P, because the derivative of T with respect to T equal to 1, minus A by R T square. V is a constant term, so that we get this expression. Now suppose this expression is equation 3. Now rearranging the above expression, that is PV equal to RT minus A by V minus PB. Now rearrange this expression, we get RT is equal to PV minus A by V plus PB. RT equal to PV, that is plus A by V plus PB. Okay, so that if we again simplify, now taking the common P, so V plus P is C plus A by V. Okay, RT equal to P into V plus V plus A by V. And now V, but we know V equal to RT by P. We know V equal to RT by P. But then RT is equal to P plus P into V plus Now if we put the value of V, which is equal to RT by P in this term, so we get RT equal to P into V minus V plus A P by RT. Okay. Now differentiate. Now dividing Qt. Now dividing Qt on both the sides, we get R by P. R by P. If we divide T, T cancels, so R by P, and PP cancels, so V minus V by T plus FP, PP cancels, so A by R T square. Okay. If we divide this, then we get, if we dividing Qt on both the sides, then we get the above expression becomes R by P is equal to V minus V by T, PP cancelled, plus A, PP cancelled, so RT square. Okay. Now this expression is suppose 4, equation 4. Now substituting the value of R by P in the above expression 3. In the above expression 3, in the place of R by P, if we put this value, then we get del V by del T at constant P is equal to V minus V by T plus A by RT square plus A by RT square. So that implies del V by del T at constant P is equal to V minus V by T plus 2A by RT square. Okay. So now putting the value of r by p in the above expression 3, then we get the expression becomes del v by del t at constant p is equal to v minus b by t plus 2a by rt square. If we now simplify this, then we get del v by del t at constant p is equal to v by t minus b by t plus 2a by rt square. Okay. Now if we take in common 1 by t, then we get v minus b plus 2a by rt. Okay. If we take in 1 by t from the right hand side, then we get this expression. So that the above expression becomes t whole into del v by del t at constant p is nothing but equal to v minus b plus 2a by rt. Okay. But as we know, del t by del p at constant h equal to t into del v by del t at constant p minus b whole divided by cp. This is known from before, that is equal to del t by del p, rate of change in temperature with respect to pressure at constant FLB, which is equal to this much value. Okay. So now taking this equation, suppose here we can also solve it. That implies t into del v by del t at constant p minus v is equal to 2a by rt minus b. Okay, this is the expression number suppose 5 and this is the expression number suppose 6. If we simplify this above expression, this t equal to del v by del t at constant p equal to v minus b plus 2a by rt, and if we are taking v from towards left side, so we get t into del v by del t at constant p minus b is equal to 2a by rt minus b. Okay, this is the equation number 5. And very earlier we have also found this value, that is the del t by del t at constant h is equal to t of del v by del t at constant p minus b by cp. Okay, this is the expression number 6. Now comparing equation number 5 and 6, we get, you see, equation 5 and 6 we get del t by del p at constant h is equal to 2a by rt minus p whole into 1 by cp. Right? If we compare this above expression 5 and 6, then t del v by del t p minus b, this term is common. So that if you multiply this here cp into del t by del p at constant h, then we can find in general del t by del p. Okay, very common, I am again writing. Okay, you see t into del v by del t at p minus b, here also t into del v by del t at constant p minus b. This term is common. This term is common. So if we, I am very clear. You have to understand this. If we simplify this, then we can also write cp into del t by del p at constant h is equal to t into del v by del t at constant p minus b. Okay, you see this term, suppose this equation is 6 and in the equation 5 and 6, you see in the equation 5 in the left hand side this term and this term in equation 6 on right hand side. These two terms are equal, so that we can write, if we now comparing equation 5 and 6, then we get cp pull into del T by del P at constant H is nothing but 2A by RT minus B. Okay. So by comparing this equation 5 and 6, we get Cp into del T by del P at constant H is equal to 2A by RT minus B, and then del T by del P at constant H is equal to 1 by Cp pull into 2A by RT minus B. Okay, and now see, this term is the your Joule-Thomson coefficient, that is del T by del P at constant H. So mu Zt or Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas is equal to 1 by Cp pull into 2A by RT minus B. Okay, this is the value of Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas, which is equal to 1 by Cp pull into 2A by RT minus B. Okay, now let's see the inversion temperature. Okay, what is inversion temperature? Which the Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas is 0 is called as inversion temperature. The temperature, again I am saying, the temperature at which the Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas is 0, then that temperature is called your inversion temperature. That means, you see here I have already written the Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas has the value 1 by Cp whole into 2A by RT minus B. So that means 1 by Cp whole into 2A by RT minus B is equal to 0. That means 2A by RT minus B is equal to 0. So 2A by RT is equal to B. That means T is equal to 2A by RB. This is the inversion temperature. Okay. So this is the inversion temperature. That means at the temperature 2A by RT, the value of temperature is 2A by RB. For this value of temperature, the Joule-Thomson coefficient for a real gas is equal to 0. Hence, this temperature is called inversion temperature. So that by using this relation, that is 2A by RB, we can find the value of inversion temperature for a real gas. And we know here A and B are the two van der Waals constant term, and if you know R is the universal gas constant. Hence, we can, by using this value of A, B and R, we can find the value of inversion temperature for a real gas. Okay, thank you.